Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. For those who are new here, consider subscribing. Hit that bell so that you are notified whenever I post new content on here, at least once a week. All right. And so it is a free content for you to learn, especially for beginners. It's really free content which you don't have to pay for. All right. All I ask, to be fair, is that you subscribe. Just take a moment to subscribe to this channel and also like this video and share with your friends who are like-minded in the Forex market. So today we are going to be looking at bearish flag chart pattern. All right, and so this is one of my favorite chart patterns to trade. When this chart pattern happens, or when this chart pattern forms, all right, on higher time frames, let's say from 1 hour, 4 hour time frame to daily time frame to 1 month time frame, weekly time frame, it is much more effective if you see it on higher time frames. All right, so today we are going to be looking at a 1 hour time frame in real charts, but I will begin by introducing to you what it really looks like. So this bearish flag chart pattern looks more like the way you see here on the screen. All right, so it looks more like that. It has a lower support. This line here is the support, and it has the resistance as the upper line there. All right, so in between here is called the channel. In between here is the channel. All right, so but you have the upper resistance line and you have the lower support, okay, which is a trend line also. Okay, so the chart pattern, bearish flag chart pattern, looks more like this. It is much more when you see this on a general downtrend. Let's say this was previously a downtrend, all right, and then there is a support area here, and then you see this this kind of retracement to the upside. When this channel forms, okay, and there is a breakout at this point here, okay, a breakout, you have to wait for a retest here. There is usually a breakout and then a retest, and then the continuation of the previous downtrend. All right, so this can be a continuation chart pattern, especially if there was the previous downtrend. Like in this case, this was the previous downtrend, then we have a temporary upper trend, all right, forming that channel, which is our bearish flag pattern. All right, and then if there is a breakout at this point here, you are looking at a possible reversal back to the downside, okay, a continuation of the previous downtrend. Okay, so you can use it as a continuation chart pattern, and also you can use it as a reversal chart pattern, and we're going to look at it. So this is basically how it looks. So in a downtrend you have something like this, and when there is a support area and there is this temporary retracement, okay, which forms the flag, okay, and then there is a breakout usually at the point here below the flag, okay, below the flag, and then there is a retest. You always have to wait for a retest to confirm your entry in lower time frames, and then there is that continuation of the previous downtrend. So this chart pattern forms in that fashion. So you can take a screenshot of this, or you can just look at how this forms. Okay, so this is how it looks like. All right, so keep this in mind. This can be in an uptrend. This chart pattern can also form in an uptrend, so it is not restricted only to a downtrend. Okay, but if your previous trend was a downtrend, like in this case, it could possibly when this pattern forms, when this flag forms like you see in this case, and there is a breakout at this point, this could mean a continuation of your previous downtrend, okay, right here. So but it can also form, this very pattern can also form in an uptrend. Okay, so we are going to look at that, how you can use this on the real charts. All right, these were real charts also, but I took a screenshot of my very good trades which I took previously, and I just put it in one of my courses, which you can actually access if you like. You can contact me on WhatsApp. My contacts are down below, and we can talk about this beginners course. It's very comprehensive and easy to understand. All right, so let's go to the charts. Let me show you how this works on the charts. AUD/USD, for the longest, it has not really given us a very good signal to go short or long, but yeah, this is on a 1 hour time frame. We are hopeful that next week, when the market opens, this AUD/USD will really drop. So we are looking at selling AUD/USD below our rising channel or bearish flag. Okay, so we are looking at drawing here the lower support of our bearish flag. That's the lower support. Okay, and then we drag this all the way up to create the upper resistance of that of the flag. All right, we're going to drag from here. Okay, make sure it touches at least 2 points. The first touch here on the upper resistance and the second touch over there. Okay, and also down here you have at the support, you have 1 touch here. Okay, and then there is a second touch over there. All right, so now what we are looking at is for AUD/USD this coming week to break below this point. If it breaks below here, we are looking at a retest around this point before we can sell. Okay, because there is also this area here which was previously a support area. We are going to draw that out. This is a previous support area here. Okay, right. Okay, so this would be one of our targets. This is our first target, and then our second target would be down here. Okay, so this is what you'd be looking at, but always wait for a retest around this point here. Okay, should AUD/USD break above, okay, should AUD/USD bounce off of this area, okay, this is another way of trading trading this bearish flag chart pattern. If AUD/USD bounces off of this area, you can buy or sell within the bearish flag chart pattern. You can actually go to your lower time frames. Okay, you can actually go to your lower time frames and buy from this point to that point, or all the way to that point. Okay, that is also one possibility, guys. Okay, so I'm just telling you that there are many ways of, there are actually 3 ways of trading within this bearish flag chart pattern. Inside the flag, you can actually buy from this point if you see a confirmation. Like I've said, next week, if this happens, if the price breaks below here, you can sell below the flag to this point. Okay, if that does not happen and the price bounces off of this area and the market heads back inside the flag and breaks above this point, okay, this level here, you can look for your confirmations to buy, to go long within that very flag. You can go long here and consider these highs or these highs as the price rises. That is the second possibility of trading this bearish flag. And also another possibility could be if the price is like at this point here. Okay, you could decide to sell all the way down here. All right, so that is one way of trading, another way of trading the bearish flag chart pattern. Okay, so should the price get to this point over here, you can also look for confirmations from this point. You can look for confirmations to sell back to this level. Okay, so that is also a possibility, guys. Okay, so you could sell when the price gets there, or you could buy when the price gets here. Okay, next week you could buy from this point to that point, or to that point. Okay, so that's also one possibility, or sell below this point here. Okay, you can also sell below here after a confirmation. You can sell all the way down to this point over here. Okay, so those are the 3 ways you can actually trade this chart pattern. The most effective way of trading this chart pattern is waiting for this breakout down here, okay, so that you can sell all the way down to this point, okay. So that is the way you could trade this AUD USD come next week. Or you can use this for your own lesson so that whenever you see a chart pattern like this, you can actually take advantage of it, okay. So this is how this chart pattern works. All right, so let's move on to the next asset. We draw our support here, okay, of the channel and drag it. You can actually see that there is a channel that is formed here from last week, Euro AUD, okay. So this looks like an uptrend, all right, but there are three ways, as I've already explained to you, of trading this. You can either wait for this to break below here, wait for a retest and sell all the way down. That is the first, that is one way of trading this pattern, and the most effective way, all right. This would be the most effective way of trading this pattern, okay. But there is also another way of trading this pattern, which is the second way of trading. You could actually buy from this point. You could buy, okay, and place your stop loss just right there, okay. You want your stop loss just below this level here, okay, and target the upper resistance of that channel, okay. That is also the second way you could trade that, all right. And the third way you could trade this is to wait for the price to get to this upper resistance, okay, of the channel, all right, because this is a resistance. You could also consider these areas over here. Previously, you can see that there was a resistance up here, or this side, all right. So when the price gets here, you could actually decide, look for confirmations to sell from this point here, okay, within the flag. Now you are trading within the flag, okay. So that is also another way of trading this. You could target the lower part of the flag right there. So that is also one way of trading this bearish flag chart pattern. But this is the most effective. Wait for a break below and wait for a retest before you can actually sell. All right. So that is also one way. This is Euro AUD. This is possible next week. Okay. There are three possibilities here, but I'm also looking to temporarily actually buy. There is a strong momentum to buy right there next week. Okay. As I've already demonstrated, you could buy to the uppermost part of the channel there at the resistance. Target the resistance, okay. Target the resistance of the bearish flag up there. All right. Some people would call this the rising channel, but chart pattern, but this is a bearish flag chart pattern. Okay, so because this is like it's falling, you can have like a pole of the flag. This is the pole of the flag, and you can see clearly that looks more like a flag. Okay, this previously bearish, and then we have that upward momentum. So if it breaks out here, it would be a good way. It would be a good opportunity to drop this all the way. Even if it breaks below here, you can consider actually continuing your sell position, okay, all the way down. All right. So that is a possibility with this bearish flag chart pattern, or you can call it a rising channel, whatever you want to call it, okay. But this chart pattern is very, very effective, all right, and you can trade it in three ways, which I've already demonstrated. All right, so let's move on to the next asset, okay. You could look at GBP USD also has already formed that bearish flag chart pattern. All right, you can see here, if I take the channel and I drag it all the way, okay, we'll drag it all the way, and yeah, okay, so we can see here, okay, doesn't have to be picture perfect, but you can see a channel, okay. So we can see this movement here. Price got here. Previously, it is an uptrend, just like I've already explained this channel can also form in an uptrend. So this previously an uptrend, then we have this upper resistance and then the lower support, and then the price is bouncing in between there. You can see what's happening here. Okay, so but when the price got back down here, it broke below. Okay, and we can see that retest before the price dropped all the way down here. Okay, so what we are waiting for is a possible break below this point. Okay, so if when the price breaks below here, we are going to sell next week. There is a very good opportunity for a sell next week here with JBP USD. Okay, and our first target would be here. Okay, and then our next target would be these lows over here. Okay, so you are looking at that possibility. Your stop loss will be just above that bearish candle right there. Okay, and you can have a 1 to 4 risk to reward ratio. This is on a 1 hour time frame, so you can go down to a 5-minute time frame, 15 minutes time frame, and look at how you can trade this. You can see clearly that there is a bearish candle which is formed here aggressively. So we are looking at selling this. So this is a perfect example of how you can actually trade the bearish flag chart pattern. You just look at this. Previously, you could also have actually sold from this point. Okay, so this was also a very good sell opportunity up here. You could have also sold here and targeted 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio all the way down, or even 1 to 4, all the way down to this level here. Okay, you must have at least 1 or 2 confirmations like you have here, 1. Okay, and then you have this, and then you have these areas not being broken, and then you have up down here the first confirmation right here, first touch, and then a second touch right there. Okay, and then you have that touch over there also, like 2-3 times. All right, this creates our bearish flag. So there are many ways you can actually trade the bearish flag chart pattern, but this one is the most effective one. You wait for a breakout, okay, below the pattern, and then go to lower time frames to look for confirmations for a sell order. Okay, so this is what we are looking at next week for GBP USD. It could sell way back to this point here, or back to this level here. Okay, but should the price rise and break above this level here, okay, so that it will not be bearish anymore. You'd be looking for buys above this area. Okay, this is what you'd be looking at, back to this upper resistance level of the bearish flag chart pattern. Okay, but for now, this is what we are looking at. All right, wait for confirmations before you take your trade. So you can see that the price is rising. Gold has hit all-time highs, but at this level, this is where gold is right now. This is where the price is right now. Okay, and we are looking at a possible sell, because we can see very strong confirmations here. There was a break below with that aggressive red candle. Okay, break below the bearish flag, and then we are looking at a possible retest around this point. Okay, we're looking at a possible retest around this point here before we can sell. Okay, we are looking at a possible retest before we can sell gold. Minimize your losses. Okay, put your stop loss right about there and target these levels here. Okay, target 3,000 or 2,900 there about. Okay, gold could actually fall back to 2,980. That is possible also. All right, it is possible, guys. There is nobody who knows exactly what will happen in the market. Should the dollar strengthen even more, you will see this drop all the way with this level. However, if the gold price continues its bullish momentum, should gold break above that level, so we will be looking at this kind of scenario. We are going to buy back to this point, these highs, or because this is all-time highs, 3,057 something. All right, this would be our next target. Okay, should the price break above 3057, we are looking at buying all the way up here to these highs over here, back to 3057 or even 3100. That is possible, guys, back to the upper resistance of this bearish flag chart pattern or this channel up here. That would be about 3100. Okay, but should it break below, okay, should it retest here, this would be your crucial point. If it retests this point, you are looking at selling all the way down here. All right, so thank you very much for watching my video until this point. Give it a thumbs up if you've got something, and I believe that you have learned something even as a beginner. So I thank you very much for supporting, and also continue to watch my videos. Until next time, bye bye.